Dustin Johnson is going to be part of the LIV Golf Series event in London next week, and that puts his status on the PGA Tour in doubt, with potential sanctions on the way for any player who competes in that Saudi-backed series. DJ, by far the biggest get for LIV Golf at this moment. He's a former world number one and a multiple major champion. Some of the other big names in the field next week include Louis Oosthuizen, Sergio Garcia, Lee Westwood, Ian Poulter. Not many Americans, at least not many big-name Americans, other than Dustin Johnson at this point. Phil Mickelson could still be added to the field as well. This was a surprise to many because of what DJ said just a few months ago. In February, he said, "I am fully committed to the PGA Tour. I'm grateful for the opportunity to play on the best tour in the world and for all it has provided me and my family. While there will always be areas where our tour can improve and evolve, I'm thankful for our leadership and the many sponsors who make the PGA Tour golf's premier tour." Let's bring in our golf experts, Kyle Porter and Rick Gehman, who can be heard on the brand new First Cut podcast. Kyle, I'm going to start with you on this one. What has changed for DJ in the last few months? Because going off of that, you would think that he wouldn't want anything to do with the LIV Golf Tour, considering how much the PGA Tour is against it.
Well, I think what has changed is maybe the LIV Golf Tour offered him more money to come play. I don't know of anything else that's changed. I think that DJ is a pretty straightforward guy as it relates to playing golf. He's trying to play golf for the most money possible, wherever that is. And I don't know how much DJ cares about where that money's coming from or who's kind of in charge of it, which is what a lot of other guys care about as it relates to the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund, which is essentially the financial arm of the Saudi Arabian government. And I just don't know how much DJ cares that that's taking place. And in a lot of ways, Chris, this is the best case scenario for the LIV Golf League to have DJ as your spokesperson, because he's not going to get wrapped up in all the geopolitical implications of a Saudi Arabian backed golf league. He's just there to play golf and to make money, and so be it. So it's a little bit, I was surprised. I think Rick and I were both surprised, but when you think about it more deeply and you think about kind of DJ's role and who he is, it's kind of a perfect marriage, I would say, between Dustin Johnson and the LIV Golf Series.
Rick, what's been the golf world's reaction to DJ entering this highly controversial series?
Yeah, quite shocking. And I think it would not have been if it was not for that February statement, because Dustin Johnson has gone over to play the Saudi International, an event in Saudi Arabia, for each of the last couple of years. He's won that event in the past. So we knew he was at least open to the idea, but seemingly in February he closed the door. And that statement that you read, Chris, now looks a lot more like a bargaining chip than it was his definitive stance on where he was going to be playing golf in the future. And maybe the LIV Golf League came back with an offer that Dustin could not refuse. But yeah, that's the big name. He's clearly the headliner. If you remove Dustin Johnson from at least this first field, and we should note, this is not the league moving forward. This is just the field for the first event that's going to be played in London next week. I think you've got a situation where if you remove Dustin Johnson, this thing has essentially no legs. So they've at least got a little bit of a bridge to try to entice some of the bigger name players, not only along with the money, but saying, hey, DJ did it. Dustin's over here playing. Don't you want to join him? So a little bit of a surprise here in the golf community, especially after that statement that we saw a couple of months ago.
Kyle, how could the PGA Tour respond here? What might the repercussions for DJ be?
Well, the PGA Tour actually just did respond a few minutes ago, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, this is from the PGA Tour. As communicated to our membership on May 10th, PGA Tour members have not been authorized to participate in the Saudi Golf League's London event. Under PGA Tour regulations, members who violate the tournament regulations are subject to disciplinary action. Now, listen, that disciplinary action, the PGA Tour is kind of infamous for not disclosing a lot of its disciplinary action and for having a wide breadth of what that disciplinary action could be. It could mean you're not allowed to play in the Travelers Championship, or it could mean you're not ever allowed to play on the PGA Tour again. So I think that part is going to be interesting. I think the PGA Tour, before it starts kind of dishing out lifetime bans or long-time suspensions. He wants to make sure that these guys are actually going to play in the event. They have not been granted releases. You get 3 releases every season, Chris, to go play in an event that is not on the PGA Tour. So a lot of those guys use those releases to go play on the European Tour. Some of them used them earlier this year to play, like Rick mentioned, in the Saudi International. So it's not unusual to request those releases, but in this case, they were not granted them, so they would be in violation, like that statement said, of the PGA Tour's policies. And I think the Tour wants to make sure, okay, who actually is playing in the event? We have a field, but nobody's actually teed it up and hit a ball at the Centurion Club next week. So once that happens, I expect we'll get kind of a more detailed look at what that disciplinary action might look like in the future.
Yeah, that statement that Kyle read from the PGA Tour and its response, intentionally vague. That's the idea here. Don't commit to anything until you have to, because as we start to game this out weeks, months, and years into the future, there will be lawyers. There will be plenty of lawyers and litigation involved in the players who might try to go to the LIV Golf Invitational and then come back at some point, and trying to figure out what the actual scope and jurisdiction that the PGA Tour has over these players. And I think when these guys do tee off next week in London, I imagine and I expect the Tour's response and disciplinary action to be swift and aggressive. You know, Kyle and I have spoken about this at length on the First Cut podcast. That's really their only course of action. You kind of have to shut this down as quickly as possible. You have to say, okay, if you're willing to go play over there, Dustin Johnson and Taylor Gooch and Kevin Na, you are no longer welcome here on the PGA Tour. And you have to start to build a little bit of defense around your own tour and really show that you're serious. So I expect that when we finally do get official disciplinary action, it's going to be quite aggressive.
Okay, so with that in mind, Dustin Johnson probably knows that. Anything other than money, and I know it's a lot of money, but anything other than the money that is attracting players to risk their tour future in order to join this LIV Golf Series?
Yeah, I think the thing that is attractive for players to go play in the LIV Golf League, other than money, is the fact that as of right now, as we talk on whatever this is, June 1st, these guys can still play in major championships. And I think if you look at Dustin Johnson's career, he's accomplished pretty much everything you could accomplish on the PGA Tour. He hasn't won a Players' Championship, but that's kind of it. He's done everything else. Won a FedEx Cup. He's won 23 times in non-major championships on the tour. He's done it all. So what changes his life? What increases his legacy? It's money, personally. A lot of these guys play for money more than we're kind of willing to admit. And then major championships. And as of right now, you know, the USGA, the R&A, Augusta National, and the PGA of America they've not taken a stance. They have sort of vaguely up to this point said we're with the PGA Tour. But when push comes to shove and these things go to court, if they do go to court, is that still a stance that the USGA is going to take? I'm fascinated, Chris, by what the USGA says about this with the U.S. Open just a couple weeks away. 3 of their last 11 champions are going to play in that first LIV Golf event. Are they going to ban them from playing in the U.S. Open? Can they even ban them from playing in the U.S. Open? And if not, I think you're going to see a lot more top guys say, you know what, like I'd rather go play in the LIV Golf Series, make a ton of money. If I'm still allowed to play in the majors, those are the ones that I really care about anyway. I think that part of it is going to be super interesting to see how it plays out over the next few months.
Yeah, I think we can be very clear here that 99% of this is about the money, because that's really the only thing that LIV Golf has to offer at this point. There is not the prestige of championships. There is not the allure of watching a tour like the PGA Tour as you're growing up and saying, oh, I can't wait to play at Bay Hill. I want to go to Muirfield Village and win at Jack's Place. That doesn't exist. We've got a clean sheet of history when it comes to LIV Golf and its actual tournaments. There are a few other nuggets that make it more appealing to the top players. The fact that, one, they're essentially getting guaranteed money to just go and play. There are no cuts. There's only 54 holes. And at this point for this year, there's only 8 events on the schedule. So I imagine if you can look past where the money is coming from and you offer a lot of these guys an opportunity to make more money, work less often, have more freedom, That's really the big sell here. So the few things that they can offer the top players outside of money, they've worked into the golf aspect of it, but I think the green cash is what is speaking here.
Okay, that is next week. Of course, we've got the Memorial coming up beginning tomorrow, but we
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.